It's been 2 weeks since Easter Sunday, and we have heard at every Mass in those 2 weeks a series of stories from the Gospels about the resurrected Christ appearing to his disciples. And just on Easter Sunday alone, the day of Easter, the 4 Gospels told us Jesus appeared 5 times to 5 different groups of people. In the morning of Easter, to Mary Magdalene, and then to the other woman in her group, and then to Peter. And then in the afternoon of the same day, to the disciples on the way to Emmaus. And in the evening of the same day, to the apostles in the Last Supper room that we just heard in the Gospel today. But on the next 40 days of Easter, Jesus only appeared for the total of 5 other times. So in the midst of his disciples' sadness and disappointments, Jesus appeared back to back in just one day to stabilize their faith after a series of painful events. And then Jesus took the next 40 days as time for processing, for them to go out and to spread the good news. So this is a very good psychological lesson for all of us. Let us be moderate and take time to process everything. Sometimes our enthusiasm and our energy motivate us too much that we may overwhelm or even scandalize other people, especially those who don't have yet the Catholic faith. And it may as well reverse the outcome of what we are doing. So the first thing I'd like to share with you today is to have a rather moderate and considerate attitude towards others, so that we would not waste our time and energy and then be disappointed about the outcome. Instead, let us be patient, be thoughtful, and be respectful of other people's choices. There was a story about a man who got quite tipsy after a big party with his friends. And as he was walking home, he saw a very big snake lying across the path leading to his house. So he freaked out and ran through the back, opened the door, and got a big knife. And then he ran back to the front, killed the snake, and cut it into pieces. And then he went to sleep. Well, as Vietnamese, we would have barbecued the snake, but that was not the point of the story. In the morning, the man remembered that he killed a snake last night, so he went out to clean up the mess. But surprisingly, what he saw was no snake at all, but pieces of the water hose he often used for his garden. So the lesson is, don't get drunk. The disciples on the way to Emmaus and the apostles we heard in the Gospel today, even though they were not tipsy or drunk, they were all afraid, disappointed, worried, and hopeless. All those negative feelings blinded them from recognizing Jesus and believing in his message. Because if we remembered, Jesus told them many, many times that he would be raised after 3 days from the dead. But they all forgot about it because of fear and of hopelessness. That was why when they saw Jesus, they thought they were seeing a ghost. So the first word Jesus spoke to them were, "Peace be with you," because Jesus knew too well that peace was what they needed the most. It was only after Jesus showed them he had flesh and bones and ate in front of them and explained again to them all were written about him in the scriptures that they came to believe that Jesus was truly alive. And it was only then that they had peace in their hearts. Now, our life, regardless of all the fear and disappointments and worries, and despite of all the things that we are seeking to achieve, peace is what our soul is truly looking for. Peace is security, is love, is joy, is our purpose, and is our faith. So the second thing I'd like to share with you today is to look for true peace in the resurrected Jesus. With faith in Jesus, we have hope and we have purpose. He sacrificed himself for us. He would never give up on us. And there's another story of a person reflecting on his long life. And he found out that his life was like walking on the sandy beach. When he was happy and successful, he would find two sets of footprints of two people walking on the sand. One set of his own and the other set of God. God was walking with him on the way to share his joy and his success. But then when he was disappointed and sad, he found only one set of footprint. So he thought God seemed to abandon him and let him walk all alone. So he went to pray to God and asked God where God was. So God answered him, "Yes, you're right, that I was walking with you in those times of joy. But when you're down and sad, I was also there with you. Those two footprints were not yours, those were mine. You're on my back. I carried you on my back through those bad moments. That's why you're still here. I carried you in my back. That's why you're still here." God may not be where we expect God to be. The disciples expected Jesus to be dead in the tomb. But Jesus was not there. Jesus appeared to them only at the right moment. So, my brothers and sisters, in this third Sunday of Easter, I have just shared with you 3 ideas so that we can reflect together to further and strengthen our faith in the light of the resurrected Jesus. And I hope the only thing you remember is not the story about the snake barbecued. First, let us be moderate and considerate towards others so that we would not waste our time and energy and then be disappointed about the outcome, but instead be patient, respectful, and thoughtful of other people. Second, let us look for true peace in the resurrected Jesus. With faith in Jesus, we have hope and we have purpose. He sacrificed his life for us. He would never give up on us. And third, let us remember that God is always with us. All of our fear and disappointments and worries sometimes prevent us from seeing God and seeing what God actually does. Let us hold on to hope and faith so that God could do God's work in our life. Be patient, respectful, and thoughtful of other people. Look for true peace in the presence of God and hold on to our faith and hope so that God could do God's work in our life. May God, who has begun a good work in us, also bring it to fruitful completion. Amen.